Can everybody hear me? Please answer in the chat. Good. Hello, Lynn. Hello, June. So I'm waiting for Harald Kautz to arrive, and hopefully I can figure out how to make him like a split screen thing, or put him on screen. I don't know how to do this, but we'll see when he arrives. We have 4 more minutes. I hope and pray he's gonna show up. So in the meantime, while we're waiting for him, you guys can, if there's any comments or questions you have until then, now is the time. It's been raining quite a lot here, and I can feel I have a little bit of phlegm coming up my lungs. This is considered winter in Ecuador. Apple cider vinegar. How many have seen both part 1 and part 2 of the Harald Kautz interview? How many of you have seen both? Good. Okay. Lynn says all part 1 or half part 2. Cal has seen both. Okay. So there's at least 2 people who've seen them. I hope you guys are coming with good questions. It is snowing here. Glanced at both. Horst stressing 1.5 June. Okay. I hope he's gonna show up. I'm checking if he emailed me. No emails, so I think I hope he will come. Okay. So any comments, anything to say now before he comes? So yeah, I actually did a couples session with him, me and my partner. We did a session with him, and yeah, he basically is like all the time was spent on my partner, and it looked like, well, I know she got a lot out of it. That was pretty intense for her. So yeah, I think it was good. I liked it. My partner liked it. It went deep. There was a lot of release stuff. So but you know, everybody has their own processes and attractions to what they like and what they don't like, etc. And so maybe it will not work for you, or maybe it's totally awesome. For me, I like it. Oh, there he is. Good. There he is. So Harald Kautz entered. Good. Good. Barbara is asking, how did you find each other? You mean, how did I find Harald, or how did I find my partner? Which I don't understand the question. Hello, Harald. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. There's no sound from your side. Boris, can you check if...
Better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Good. Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. So Barbara, next time we do a live event, you can ask me about these things. If it's my private life and my partner and all stuff, you can ask about that next time. When it comes to how did I find Harald, so I known about Harald for, I think, more than a decade at least, because all of his material, everything that he is presenting out there on the internet. And so I heard of him known about him for a long time. And then I basically did some investigation into finding his email address, which took some time, actually. You're good at hiding. And then I emailed him, and here he is. So that's how I found him. Boris, I don't know how to do this. Can you do split screen with me and Harald?
It's easier if we do it like this. When the person who speaks, the person will show up.
Okay, so what does it look like for people who are viewing right now? Like
This
only
person is speaking at a full screen, or it depends on the person themselves how they set up their Zoom.
Okay, and so when I record, it's gonna record what I'm seeing, right?
Yes.
And so, okay, so how do I do that?
I can record from my side too, and then this is taken care of. Okay,
perfect. Then, okay, so let's just do that then. Okay, let's see how it goes. Okay, well, welcome, Harald. This is now the real genuine live event. You're now together with my core group of people who are showing up every week and listen to me rambling about all kinds of things between heaven and earth. And we are right now 20 people, but we're going to be more. We're usually like 30, 40 people. Mm-hmm. And people are coming a little late, as usual. So basically what I've done is I sent out part 1 and part 2, the interviews, to everybody, all the members here. And I asked them to watch the whole thing and then come in with questions. So hopefully this is going to be a much more interactive experience than just these interviews where I'm just sitting asking questions. So how are you, Harald? What's going on?
Oh, drama. drama all around me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What kind?
People find each other in kind of one-to-one constellations and start to trigger each other like hell. And then everything shows up, and I'm kind of the only thing I feel that I can do is letting them get involved in their drama interaction to a point where it starts getting destructive and more traumatizing than healing. And then just to pull everybody out, could you please look into the mirror for a second and pick out your part of the story and start working on yourself instead of killing each other? It's a bit weird, but it tends to work well that way.
And so
for myself, I just check if I get triggered by anything happening, but it hardly happens those days. The only one who still manages to trigger me somehow is my own girlfriend. We seem to still have codependent issues open to solve.
Okay.
But everybody else is just like, what the heck are you doing? Okay, go for it.
And so as we spoke about, first question is, how many people are living in your area that you're dealing with?
5, 7, 9. The moment we're like 14, 15.
Oh, okay, so there's plenty of room for drama. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so all this stuff you're dealing with, it's not online, but it's people around you.
Yes, it's my people who came to live close to me, and some of them live close to me, and some of them basically refused healing at a certain point and decided to take a bit more distance to not be under pressure from my end.
Okay.
Everybody came with the agreement, I come to heal. And sometimes healing gets inconvenient, or you need to let go of something you're not ready to let go from. So things get stuck, and then communication gets tricky because I don't play games. I don't hide myself. So if somebody gets stuck on something, it's like it's in the air all the time, and it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Because especially when it comes to personalities that play out, I'm not even interested in communicating or spending time with a personality. I want to spend time with the core human, with the true self. And if a personality takes over the entire space because it doesn't want to be dissolved, then for me it feels like a waste of time to continue, because whatever I say doesn't make a difference. It's not going to lead to any change. So I might as well stop the contact, cease the contact, and waste my energy on somebody else, or not waste my energy.
Okay. So if people come deliberately to heal with you, I don't understand why they would stop the process then. I mean, they can maybe agree or disagree with certain things, but
mostly they are identified with something that would need to leave completely, to be dissolved. And if you're identified with something that needs to be dissolved and you're not willing to let go of the identification, it's a dead-end road. You can't continue. Like we had somebody that had a perpetrator personality. He continuously started real fights that could even get physical, harming people, because this was one of his reactive patterns of a personality he had, and he was working in a rough environment, like on building sites. And if you're not the aggressive one, if you're not the overdog in a violent environment, the fear is there to become the underdog. So he literally said, I cannot afford to let go of this personality because I will be fucked on the building site. And that was kind of the conscious decision. My contribution to that point would be, well, you do not lose any ability. All you lose when you dissolve a personality is the automatized behavior. So you can still decide from hour to hour, day to day, whether you want to behave like an asshole or whether you want to behave nicely. It's your choice, but it's a free choice. It's not that this personality is just hoovering off and beating up people, whether you want to or not. So it's just the freedom of choice you gain when you dissolve it. But he was so afraid of losing it when he doesn't have the weaponry on board anymore, that his decision was not to dissolve it. And from there on, whenever we talked, I kind of had the feeling I'm talking to this personality, not to him.
Yeah.
Because of course I was the enemy of that personality.
Yeah.
They managed to behave like independent individuals, although it's just a creation of the self.
Yeah. So it's a creation of a personal self that is outside the heart, that is running automatic its own life force or our own
Yes,
story.
it's a sub aspect of the mental body, rooted in the emotional body, normally on a trauma. And whenever the trauma is re-triggered by something outside, the mental field is repeating this once learned behavioral pattern, how to deal with a traumatic event.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody got beaten up and his only possible response was to fight back and be the asshole instead, then this is a learned pattern. And whenever the slightest taste of conflict comes up, then this pattern is activated. This would be typical personality behavior.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have our first question from Carol, and she's in Turkey. She's saying, Harald, I guess you are saying not useful in a therapy to seek in him what the patient doesn't want to give or do anymore. Wasting your time and theirs, right? Question mark. So better they keep their distance from you.
This is a remark, not a question.
Yeah, I guess it's a remark, not a question. Yeah. So Carol, only please write large letters for questions and not remarks. So okay, if people who are listening here now, if you have any questions in regards to your own life, in the sense of how to deal with your anger or depression or sadness or frustration about how the world looks these days, for example, you're getting feeling disempowered or anything. So bring up questions about all that, because what we're doing is we're trying to uncover the terrain that leads back to your heart. Okay, so everybody wants to live in their heart, but nobody wants to deal with their mental and emotional and physical traumas, etc. And so today I would like to shed a little more light upon how to go about certain specific situations in your life. You don't have to sit and expose your own private life and situation, but you can ask in more general terms if you prefer not to say too much about yourself, but you can just ask in more general terms, and not so bring in the questions in the chat. So this is for you. We're here for you. So Harald came here for you guys. So I could have just done another interview with him, but I brought him in here so you guys can ask these questions. Okay, so please use this opportunity.
While you formulate to the remark that came in, or the half question, when it comes to professional healing, I really like the approach of Harald Westbecher. He's originally from Germany, but he used to work in Great Britain as a healer, and he realized that people tended to come back to him with new forms of disease every half year.
Oh, really?
And he realized that he's actually not healing them. And they came back and said, "You're the best healer of the world." And he said, "No, if I would be the best healer of the world, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah,
you would just be fine." So he realized that people came back in like vicious cycles and loops, not really going for healing, but just going or coming for symptom relief or symptom suppression. And then the same things came up with new symptoms. So he was kind of fed up with the waste of time. So when somebody new showed up, he just asked them one question: what do you want to heal for? So he's, from the very beginning, he was asking for the projected change in life. If somebody couldn't walk because his feet were, and he said, "I want to have a walk every day in the forests because I love nature," then he had a reason to heal.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that this is something that leads to something, that the healing leads to change, and change is what was meant to be achieved. And then he realized that after 3/4 of a year, he didn't have patients anymore. Because they all got healed, because they knew what they wanted to be healed for.
Okay.
And then he had to give up his profession because he actually went bankrupt and he turned to do other things.
That's what I call a success.
And this is something I try to make sure from the very beginning as well. If people come to ask for advice or for a talk or conversation or healing or whatever, I do not do any healing on people. The only thing I can do is guide them through self-healing, because I can't change them. The same with the personalities. A personality is a self-creation. I cannot do anything to a personality without crossing a line and harming somebody. But somebody who created an entity within himself has all the means and rights to disassemble that entity again if he doesn't need it anymore. This is our creational power.
Yeah.
So this all goes through this path of self-healing, and all a healer actually can do is assist and inspire. Contribute his perception in the sense of compassion, because especially when it comes to the subconscious, a healer that is fully conscious working with a patient that is partly unconscious or subconscious, he can feel the entire system because he's not blocked on his own. So he has the full picture of the conscious and subconscious within himself. And if there's something that needs to be discovered in the subconscious, he can already see the solution approaching, and he can point to whatever. There's the door to the fear, there's the door to the anger, because he can feel it before the patient even can feel it. But all the work needs to be done by the patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my core philosophy when it comes to healing. It's only assistance and inspiration.
Yeah, that's also how when I was doing I did a lot of iboga sessions for people, and I never called myself a shaman or anything. I just called myself a facilitator. I was just facilitating. So all we can do is we are facilitating for each other, whatever it is, healing and trauma release and spiritual journeys and all that stuff. We're facilitators, but in the end, it's the person themselves that are doing it. We have our first question from Lynn. I do get very frustrated with world and local events. How do I learn to drop the ego so I can drop the drama and reaction to people and events? It's kind of a big question.
What we reject most is what stays longest.
You can also say what we resist will persist.
Yes, that might be the correct English saying for that. If I see something that frustrates me, I realize it triggers me. If it triggers me, it has something to do with me. So I look for the point where I am being judgmental. And exactly what I judge, I need to discover in myself. This is the straight path through. So if I'm if I'm frustrated about policemen and demonstrators that beat each other up and hurt each other and traumatize the street into a rubbish dump, whatever, so then what triggers me is aggression. And then I need to see where the suppressed aggression in myself is. The reason why I am not involved in this, because if I'm kind of being pulled into the perception of the story, for me, this means I want to be involved. It needs honesty. If something triggers me, actually, I want to be involved. I can give one example from my end. I always really jumped on stories about child soldiers in Africa. Whenever something of that sort popped up in the media or in my environment or whatever, I totally got involved, cried, cried rivers for those children. And then I needed to realize, okay, something triggers me. And what I found out, what triggered me was taking really core responsibility ways before age. Being in the position to do things and take decisions while actually you should be a child.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that it just triggered childhood memories from my end. Because I went through quite a few experiences that I was overwhelmed with the world, and I was not ready for that. And I somehow had to survive out there. And it went to the point of getting close to dissociating completely, because it was just too much. I couldn't handle it as a child. So this is my trauma. This is my trauma. And when I see these children with the guns on their shoulders sent into battlefields, it just reminds me of all the emotion I had to suppress as a child when I needed to survive somehow. And it was not a war situation. It was just being in a foreign country where you don't understand the language, you don't have friends. Most of the other kids were more in an enemy state towards immigrants. So tough time. So what? It's not really serious, but my emotional memory was quite serious. So this is what triggers me. So I can take that choice to get involved into whatever, fighting the people who set up child armies in Africa, or I can just dive into my own self, pull up that memory of how it felt like to be in such a, not equivalent, but similar situation, and just clear my own emotional body from those stored and stuck memories, emotional memories. And this is how I try to deal with all parts of life, just see where is the resonance point, and what does the story want to revive in me, trigger in me, bring back to, from the state of emotion to the state of feeling.
I get triggered by the fact that there's a handful of billionaires out there who wants to control my life and everybody else's life and tell them what to do and everything. So what would that be? What kind of story would that be? I mean, does it necessarily mean that there is a problem if you get triggered by that? Or is that, wouldn't you say that maybe that's just a natural reaction?
In general, it's a good question, because it shows two possible mechanisms. One could be that your secret dream is to control the planet, and you're just jealous because they do it and you can't.
Okay.
That would be kind of the straight mirror.
Yeah.
And then you do have the complementary mirror.
Yeah.
Which would be that you actually are in love with the savior role. And you define your ego and your being and everything you are by being the one who has the ability and the strength and the wow, whatever is great and marvelous and beautiful, to be the one to stop them from doing it. And then, of course, you jump onto that train as well, because you face your complementary part in the drama interaction.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that if you're really coming to this point of honesty, you would realize that actually shifting positions would be possible. Because we are in love with the drama. We are in love with the interaction.
Yes.
It doesn't make a big difference whether we are on the victim side or on the savior side or on the perpetrator side.
Yeah.
It's all possible positions as long as we are addicted to the drama.
Yeah.
And this would kind of, let's say, all the people who go onto the streets to fight the government, and if like you have 20 people on the street and only one policeman around, you will end up beating this policeman up. And then you're exactly in the same position the police is with this monopoly of violence.
Oh, you're dropping out. Oh, Harald, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're dropping out. I don't know if anybody can hear me.